Hello, the troopers, and welcome back to General Economics Bunker. Thank you so much for joining me here on another episode of The High Ground. How is everybody doing on this fine Wednesday night? I hope you're doing awesome. Okay, I really do. I hope that it has been a good first half of the week. I hope that everything is going okay with you guys, and I hope that you are feeling just great as we approach the weekend. Tomorrow's Thursday, so you can almost smell it. All right. Today we got a pretty interesting show. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, guys. And yeah, we got some plans. All right, we're cooking. We're cooking over here. Okay, but to help me out today and talk about a lot of this stuff, we have a co-host today. We have our friend of the channel, member of the Star Wars Talk podcast and the Countdown City Geeks. We have Retro Ray. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, it's pretty good, guys. Thanks for bringing me on to the podcast today, Kenobi.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And like I said, we got quite a bit. We got quite a bit in the works, don't we, this year? So
Dude,
yeah,
yeah, that's just
we
small piece, man. It's crazy.
right. It's getting kind of insane, and it's technically it's still January, which is impressive, right? I mean, we're still not even into February. So thank you again, everybody, for joining us here tonight. I already see some people there in the chat, but before we jump into the chat, I do want to bring in our guest because we got a lot to cover with him. We got a lot to talk about. Okay, so it's one thing to go out and enjoy a show, convention where you have guests and you have toy stores and collectibles and stuff. It's a whole other thing to put something like that together, to work your magic in the background so that everything flows smoothly and everybody's having a great experience. And to talk about something like that today, we have Scott Kinney, who's basically involved with every show that you love, guys. So welcome, Scott. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Love the sheet update right there.
Yeah, some
Very on brand.
vintage Return of the Jedi
Love it.
childhood, sheets.
Absolutely. That is
So
awesome.
why don't they make that for adults now for king size
Dude,
beds
right?
and you know what I mean? They still make them for twins and but
Exactly. I'm
why
like,
not for the adults?
we have adult money now. We can buy stuff. Like, come on now.
You'll see an ad for that soon on your feed
Yeah,
somewhere.
right now. Now your phone listen to you, so he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you want a grown up Star Wars sheets? Here you go."
Dude, I would definitely buy a pair. I keep on seeing all the old ones, like the old ones I had back in the day, but
Yes.
they're all for kids. And I'm like, dude, I want to have that on pillowcase, all that. I don't know why. Somebody's got to do that. They're losing money.
No, I hear you. You're very very true. So thank you, Scott, again for coming in. And guys, so Scott is basically a very well seasoned showrunner for a lot of shows, really, and we'll talk about a couple here. So most recently, the Countdown City Geeks, yours truly, General Economics Bunker, were involved in a very, very cool show out here in New Braunfels, Texas. This was a couple weekends ago, called Retromania. And I just want to show you guys like a little bit of the stuff. By the way, toy hunting video about that coming out tomorrow. So make sure you don't miss it. It's like half an hour, guys, because there was a lot of stuff, okay, at the show. So I just want to share here. Let me pull up a couple of quick snapshots of what some of the stuff that I saw. So check those out. Come on. Special edition Ahsoka lightsabers from the legacy lightsabers in that beautiful box. Remember, those flew off the website, guys, and this guy had them right there. Very very cool. Like I said, we saw a bunch of stuff. Check that out. Just in that little cabinet right there, there's all of our childhoods. You got Ghostbusters, you got Motu, you got TMNT, of course you got Star Wars, you got Transformers. I mean, you got a little bit of everything. And like I said, this show has always been very very good. We were lucky enough to be involved. Check out that graded vintage Boba Fett, by the way, right there. Beautiful. um, we were lucky enough to be involved. Razor Crest, by the way, HasLab. So check that out. That was just one of the booths.
Enough to be involved. Razor.
And so yeah, so again, guys, the Countdown City Geeks, were out there in force. Our brother Daniel from the Legacy of Nerd and Tommy, right, from the WrestleCast, they were actually hosting panels. So we've been working closely with Scott, and this event, went great, I think. And so I wanted to talk about you guys, sort of how did you think the event went? Like I said, I being both a participant and last year I was just there, right? I was just visiting, I was just toy hunting, and I've enjoyed it both times. But kind of want to hear what you Retro Ray, what you think, and then from you, Scott, kind of what little bit of what it takes to put this together, right?
It was great. I mean, it was pretty much finding things that you don't normally see at other conventions. Because most other conventions are a lot bigger. They carry more things than it's not about the comics and the actual collecting kind of thing back the way it is. Here, I know it's gonna sound crazy. I found an old R2D2 cake pan. And
All that.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that was to me when as soon as I saw that, I that brought back memories. And I've been going to cons for the last 20 years and I have never come across it. I've gone to flea markets. This was the first time I found something like that, and it was a treasure. I mean, you find steals here. I paid $20 for it. You know what I mean? And now I kind of want
Perfect.
to I'm like, do I actually make a cake in it or do we just have it there?
You're
So
right.
yeah, it he put the cast of vendors that were current stuff, vintage. It was a perfect combination of vendors. Um, Sergeant Slaughter was awesome.
Amazing. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then getting to talk to Larry Hama, dude, there's a story behind that as well. I didn't get to interview him because I was covering our table, and I showed him Super Seven's Snake Eyes suit. They're creating the workout suit, whatever. And I told him, and he's like, "Oh, they're nice." He goes, "I would love to get one." So I messaged Super Seven and told him, I was going to be interviewing him later this month,
Right.
and they're like, "You got his contact?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I go, "He said he liked it and he would want one."
Right. Yeah.
They're like, "What size does he wear and how can we get it to him?" They're actually shipping him a
Oh, that's
freaking
awesome.
outfit, dude. I kid you not. It's
That
dude.
is awesome.
And if it
Good
wasn't for
job, Ray.
Scott, yeah, it wasn't for Scott, we wouldn't have been able to do this. The opportunity was there.
No, absolutely. So, yeah, guys. So this event was Ray is right. Ray brings up a good point. It might not be one of the biggest events, but I'll be honest with you guys. I always find some heat, at this event. Like I said, I've been to it twice now. Ever since I moved up here to San Antonio, went last year, and I found some really cool stuff. And this year was not the exception. I didn't have as much time to toy hunt, right? Because, like you said, we were kind of try to,
Working.
engage with the public and be at the booth and do giveaways and like a bunch of stuff, right, throughout the weekend. But you're right. I mean, the feel of this show was something that you would expect, I guess, on like you said, on maybe on like on a bigger event, right? Um, but Scott, what did you think? How do you think this year went compared to other years?
We well the we saw growth. It was a good crowd. It kind of grow. It's great because it grows organically.
Right.
We try to attract. We're not trying to be a Comic Con because I'm a collector, so it's called Retromania Collectible Show. On purpose.
Yeah.
So what's I've been going to cons since I was a little kid, since the 1980, I think was my first one.
Nice.
So they've changed a lot. Now when you go to the big cons, the quote unquote dealer room or exhibitor room floor is not that exciting. There's not that much to shop from anymore.
Sure.
So I also travel a lot, and I've gone to the Chicago Toy Show a bunch and set up there as a dealer, and other big toy shows. And I've been to other large events like Celebration, where they have offsite shows
Right.
where it's kind of like a mini toy show or trading areas in the hallways of hotels and stuff. So I want that environment. So um, those are kind of dealers I attract, and so because I am attracting those dealers, and that keeps growing. You guys saw at the show,
Oh yeah.
they're talking about the secret toy room in the back, because
Yeah.
they call it the back room because the new Braunfels Convention Center, it's been built onto
Yeah.
that back, the quote unquote back room, was where we started the show. That's all we
Nice.
had when we started. It was that smaller room, and now we take up the whole convention center. But
Yeah.
there was a ton of toy dealers in that back room, and it's attracting dealers from out of town, definitely,
Yes.
and out of state, who are coming in to sell there because they realize people are coming in there to shop. You go to a big Comic Con and set up your booth, and sometimes they're not interested in your stuff.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny you bring that up because I was actually talking to one of the vendors there who had, well, he had a lot of good stuff actually in a very small space, which I was surprised. But
Yeah,
he had this guy, which you really don't
yeah,
see very often. I mean, first
yeah,
of all, for all all toy collectors out there, Silverhawks are kind of rare, right? Like just right off the bat, they didn't make that many, and then to find one on card and like this clean, and then I believe this guy's from the second wave, so he's even less, made. And of course, he's not one of the main characters. So when I saw this, I was like, whoa, like that's I gotta take a picture of that, of course. And he was actually coming down from Austin, I believe, and he told me this is about the only show that I traveled down for, like that I traveled south for because we always have a good turnout. The dealers always have how do you call it, a good environment, right, to set up. And yeah, he said, we always get good traffic of people through here. So that's why, I pack up all my stuff and and make it a point to come down here every year. So that just kind of speaks, to what you were saying, right? You try to create, right, an event that will bring good quality vendors and therefore obviously good quality collectibles, right, which
yeah,
of course in turn will attract people, right, to they want to see, like you said, a little bit of different stuff, right.
yeah,
um, as I just mentioned, like for me that stood out. Like I said, I haven't seen one of those in, I don't know, like 5-6 years maybe. Like I have no idea when the
Yeah.
last time that I saw one like that was. It was kind of crazy. um, so tell you what, let me jump here in the chat. Bunker Bunch, I am not ignoring you. We just got a lot to talk about tonight. All right. So tell you what, let me jump in here. We got the real life perspective show. First to the key. Appreciate you, brother. He was actually out there on Retromania as well. I saw him from afar. He was making his own video out there. So another very cool YouTuber from Austin, actually. And so it was good to see you out there, brother, even if we didn't get to say hi this time around. Rolando Flores, welcome, brother. Guys, definitely go check out Rolando. He just opened his own toy hunting YouTube channel. Check him out. He's always in everybody's stream. He's always helping out. So make sure that you are subscribed, watch his stuff, leave comments. Let's support him now. Real life. Oh, that same one. We got, of course, our brother Daniel, Legacy of Nerd, saying yo. And man, we saw Daniel running around Retromania like he was three people, right? He was, manning the booth. He was talking to the Rangers. He was talking to the Rangers on stage. Making sure people were well taken care of, all of that stuff. So, thank you for that, Daniel. Definitely, you definitely left I think a good impression on the show. Man collects Chris saying good evening, fine people. Thank you as always, brother, for joining the stream. Excuse me. If you guys enjoy toy hunting, which I think everybody does, right? You definitely got to check out the Man Collects YouTube channel. This man is a freaking machine. He posts like 4 toy hunting videos every week, and they're like an hour long each one. So it's kind of crazy. So definitely check him out. Hey, Nilda, Appetite from Collectibles saying FFG. What's up, Kenobi? What is up, Nilda? Can't wait to see your video from MegaCon this weekend. So I know you're gonna have a blast out there. Got Juan saying hello there. It's like, how you guys doing? We're doing good, man. We're busy. We are getting busy though. We're kicking off the year great. Hey, we got a friend AZ saying hello, General. So AC was actually cool enough to volunteer for at Retromania, and yeah, man, he was just running around, also like just trying to get everybody whatever they needed, taking care of the guests and stuff like that. So we appreciate your hard work, Az. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, shout out to AZ.
Yeah, that man is a trooper. All right, yeah, he he was out there for sure. Like I saw him, like sit down for like 2 minutes, and then he's like, all right, well, I gotta go do this now. And he just like sprinted back up. So Rolando basically saying hi to everybody here. We got LeBron Fetch. Like, don't forget to hit that like button. Appreciate that, LeBron. And yeah, guys, if you could, please don't forget to hit that like button here on this stream. Let's let the mythical YouTube algorithm know that we are doing a really good job tonight. Uh Juan is saying day 49, still January. Yeah, man, it kind of feels like that. It's kind of funny. Um AZ saying, "Hey, it's Scott. Yeah, man, it's your good old pal now."
It's me.
Rolando dropping Appetite for Collectibles YouTube channel. Definitely check out Nilda's YouTube. LeBron saying hi to Rolando. Dropping the Man Collects YouTube. Remember, guys, if you see a link being dropped here in the chat, please check it out. If it's a YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe, watch some videos, leave some comments. If it's a TikTok or a Instagram or a Facebook, definitely go ahead and follow. Check out some of the videos, some of the posts. Remember, we try to help each other around here. Real life perspective saying, "Hey, it's Scott. Hey there, young man," he says. So yeah, like I said, Real Life Perspective Show actually came down from Austin to be at the Retromania event. McClunky Cast saying, "Hey, hey, welcome, brother. Appreciate you. By the way, congratulations on reaching 500 subscribers today, actually. So congrats to you, man. Many, many more to come." We got G4 saying, "Hey, General Ray and Scott, thank you for joining. Appreciate you." Rolando dropping some more links. This time, the Real Life Perspective Show of YouTube. G for saying hi to Rolando, Neil that the man, and Legacy of Nerd. LeBron saying thank you, Rolando. Yeah, Rolando's killing it tonight. McClunky has YouTube as well. Once again, guys, I need to remind you, if you're not subscribed to Rolando, do so, please. Okay, brand new YouTube channel. He's doing the toy hunting now, so let's support him. He's always out here helping us out. Let's see. Thank you, Rolando. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, he's on point as usual. Everybody saying hi to everybody. Got Tony from Star Wars Sit saying, "Yo, what is up?" Tony, you're gonna like the reveal we got tonight. Okay. Tony is one of the biggest Star Wars Rebels fans that I know out there. So yeah, you're gonna like it. All right. Got Louis saying, "Hey, General." Marta saying hi. Real life respect. So Shane, Retromania was great. I couldn't believe I found a Hercules, the Legendary Journeys Kevin Sorbo carded figure. I never even knew they had a toy line. Thanks to Scott for organizing these events. Yeah, exactly. It's that kind of stuff that gets you excited, right? Especially when you find something you didn't even know was out there, and all of a sudden it's right there in front of you, and you're like, "What the heck? How did I know about this for 30 years, right? Like, how did I not know this existed?" But again, just a testament to the caliber of show that Scott and well, not just him, right? I mean, his Scott and his staff, basically put together. But yeah, very very cool and very good point. Real life perspective. So once again, everybody saying hi. We got Rolando dropping Retro Expo's Instagram. So definitely, guys, go check it out. We're gonna be, talking about them in a little bit, okay? Specifically the Retro Expo, but go ahead and follow them, okay? You don't want to miss what's coming for the next show. I love that Retromania wasn't crazy packed. I felt I could breathe and wasn't rushed on the hunt. We will be back for sure. There you go. Real Life Perspective Show seems to be very impressed with the Retromania show, and very well warranted. Like I said, it was a great show. I think everybody had a good experience. Let's see, Daniel, how many steps did you get at Retromania? Ask a Real Life Perspective. I don't know, man. Like a lot. He was out there all weekend. Kara is said, first time here, but very excited for Retro Expo. Hey, thank you so much, Kara, for joining. I appreciate it. And yes, stick around. We're about to jump into that in a little bit. Okay. We got Joy from way back when. What's up, man? Thank you for joining, man. I appreciate you. Rolando dropping Kara Isman's Instagram. There you go. Right? I'm telling you, man, Rolando's on point. She's new to the stream, but yet there you go. She's getting a shout out. And way back when saying, "What up, Rolando?" And he's dropping way back when's YouTube. So once again, check out the links that are being dropped here in the chat. He says, Charisma says, as soon as I saw the Clone Wars and Rebels voice actor reunion, I bought a VIP pass. Woo! There we go. We're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but you know what? I think that's gonna be a good segue. What do you say we start talking about what's coming next, right? So Scott has been involved in well, he already did 3 shows this year, which again, that's got to be some sort of record. Um, but he's not stopping there. All right, so he put, like I said, Retro Mania show was awesome. The guests were great. The vendors were great. I know that um, Retro Ray, of course, myself, Legacy Owner, basically everybody from the Countdown City Geeks, we had a blast out there.
Yeah.
It was really a privilege to be involved, and be able to help out a little bit, with the show. A great experience, and one we hope that repeats, going forward. So Scott is kind enough to let us talk about the next show, right? And the next show um, that we want to cover is this guy here. So, Retro Expo in Plano, Texas, July 13 and 14 of this year. And yeah, so they're going to have a Clone Wars and Rebels voice cast reunion. All right. Now, I got to tell you, tonight, thanks to Scott, we were able to talk about the first official announcement for a guest, right, for these event. And but you know what? Before we jump into that, right? Before we jump all into that, Scott, why don't you tell us more or less what we could expect from this show, from the Retro Expo in July?
Retro Expo is real similar to Retromania. If you've been to one of the Retromania shows, and we've done them in Dripping Springs and New Braunfels, and we do a couple in Colorado. We've done one in Tulsa. Again, collectibles focus. So Retro Expo, the initial idea behind Retro Expo was to have as big a toy show as possible in the Dallas area. Dallas has a tradition of having a lot of toy shows.
Yep.
They hit one of the big ones had kind of died out or faded. The cons don't have. When I used to go to some of the bigger Dallas cons, 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, they had a lot of vintage toys, like big booths full of vintage toys. You'd be blown away. Some guy'd bring in, big wall full of carded figures, or Jurassic Park,
Right.
Kenner stuff, just really great. People would bring Star Wars, parts and pieces. Some of the big retailers with some of the big famous Dallas toy guys would have a booth. So they were big kind of toy cons. And so, Chicago, like I mentioned, the Chicago Toy Show,
Right.
very famous for toy collectors up in that region of the country. And so Dallas's kind of replacement was that, a lot of toy guys used to set up at the cons, but as the Comic Cons changed over time to be more celebrity focused, that's more
Sure.
the push. The costs go up and things like that,
Right.
and that's associated with celebrities. Doing a celebrity show is not inexpensive. They're justifiably more expensive
Sure.
at the gate for the vendor booths, etc. So Retro Expo to be able to bring in the kind of dealers that I wanted, a lot of independent guys, just toy guys, not necessarily pros, just collectors. Sometimes they have a booth, like to buy, sell, and trade. Just fun people
Sure.
like that to get them in your show. But then, you want to have celebrities. The idea that we came up with was that we were just going to tie the celebrity angle to Retromania and Retro Expo to more of the vintage properties that have products, toys, merchandise, that VHS tapes, records, posters, portfolios, magazines, lots of stuff to sign. A lot of collectible things. So the dealers sell collectibles. People buy collectibles. They get the collectibles autographed by, they get their action figure autograph, by this person that was in their favorite movie. So that's the you'll have a different experience at our show. We have really great dealers rooms. What you saw in New Braunfels,
Yes.
you'll see in Plano this July.
Nice.
No, he puts on a great show. I've been
He
to
really
a
does.
couple of your shows. I've been to the like I missed the one where you bought Johnny Five down. That was freaking awesome. I saw pictures. Yeah, I mean it was a life size rebuilt, and he came
Oh
from the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he came
Yeah,
from the
that was
UK,
great.
right? Is where y'all got
Yeah,
him from? Because I saw the guy. He had the video. Because I follow him. I was actually going to get him on the show to interview him because he not only made the full size Johnny Five, he also does small version Johnny Fives that he
yeah,
actually sells as well. But
yeah,
that was the first reunion with what's in the Gutenberg and Johnny Five,
yeah.
and I don't even know how. I don't think they've never did it. I
Wow.
think
No,
you guys are the first time.
yeah, the builder, yeah, is from the UK, and he just happened to be in the States. So it
Nice.
just the timing
Perfect.
worked out that he was able to be there uh while because Steve only did at our last Retro Expo, he only did 1 day appearance. And so it just worked out, and it was great because the Johnny Five robot, and it's an exact replica of the movie. Probably built on the original specs and everything. I remember reading the details when the guy contacted me, and I was just like, wow. So it's super authentic,
Yeah.
and so he's just it's just like in Star Wars. You have the astromech builder guys,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the detail and all the working parts, and everything. So this one was hyper advanced, really cool. And then yeah, he got to be on stage with Steve during the panel, and Steve really
Nice.
loved having it there. That was a unique experience, and it's difficult to these people that do a lot of conventions. It's difficult to create a unique experience, for them,
Yeah.
something they haven't done before.
Yeah.
No,
Very true.
y'all bring it. Yeah, y'all definitely bring it. That's why I like your shows. And it's just not there. You're constantly changing it up. You had all the turtles with April O'Neil. You're going down the right path with what you're doing. You're bringing the fan experience, the old school feeling, and the vendors. That's you're bringing a perfect combination of everything. That's
So
what I like about
thanks. We're not a Star Wars show. As you've seen, the last show was turtle themed.
it.
We
Yeah,
had the celebration group there, six movie stars, from the original series, and then Steve Gutenberg, of course, and we had Sam Jones and Melody Anderson from the Flash Gordon movie, and Eric Estrada, from Chips, and we had
yeah,
both Pahanch and John, and that was amazing. But this time, and we've had big Star Wars shows at our Retro Expos in the past. We've had
Right.
Anthony Daniels
Yes.
as a guest in the past, and several others from the films and the animated shows. But it just so happens this time the timing worked out great to have this particular reunion from Star Wars, the voice cast from Star Wars Rebels and Star Wars Clone Wars.
So with that comment, what do you say we got ourselves an exclusive reveal here, guys. For thanks to Scott, for letting us do this. We're gonna tell you what the first confirmed celebrity guest is for this next show.
let's make them
So
guess. Let's let the fans guess,
tell you
and
what,
then
we'll give you
yeah.
1 minute.
Yeah.
1 minute. Type down right now in the chat who do you think it is? Okay, voice actor, Star Wars Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, right? That's those are the two main groups. Who do you think is our first confirmed celebrity for the show? Okay, and while we do that, let me just jump in back here into the chat. Collect to Disconnect says, yes, sir. I'm from Dallas for Fort Worth. Can't even talk tonight. Going to this year's Joe show. We
That
got
looks good. Yeah, that
LPG.
Joe show looks good.
Yeah, he does. LPG Vintage Toys, who I met actually in person out there at Retromania a couple weekends ago. So great collector. Also, he has a very cool YouTube channel as well called Mandalore Express, and I was lucky enough to be a guest this past Sunday actually. So thank you for that, guys. Collector Disconnect saying Dial Vintage Toy is amazing. It is a very, very, very well known toy store, right? LPG saying Scott is a great guy. He gave a great deal when I traded my Jumbo Bebop at his store. Oh, there you go. That's
Remember that?
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So, like I said, Luis is quite the collector. Um, I guess mainly Star Wars, right? But that's not all he does. He's pretty strong Motu collector as well. So, he knows what he's talking about. So we got also Ricardo saying, "Hey, General Kenobi, hello everyone in the chat. Appreciate you, Ricardo. Thank you for coming in." Real Life Perspective Show says, "My buddy Reese Collect is going to have a booth at your Retro Expo. I'm going to try my best to get up there to see that side of Texas vendors." Nice. Nice. That's pretty cool, man. So yeah, hopefully we can meet in person this time. I know you talked to Daniel over Retromania, but I was kind of running around trying to film, my toy hunt, and I saw you from afar, and I couldn't catch up with you. You move fast. Rolando dropping Ricardo Quater's Instagram, so please check it out. LP LGP, sorry, Vince saying thank you, Rolando. We got Toy Collector Magazines. Looking forward to Plano in July. Hey, appreciate you coming
Hey
to the stream,
guys,
man. Thank you.
see you out there.
Kara saying, I'm hoping it's Vanessa. Oh, there you go. Vanessa. That's a good guess, right? It could be, it could be. AC saying Barbara the Goods. Michael B saying Tia Sircar. Oh, there you go. That's good guess. Good guess. Good guess. And we have where's your store, Scott? Ask Real Life Perspective Show.
It's pretty much a traveling store.
He's like, wherever you can catch me, that's
Yeah.
that's where it's gonna be.
Yeah,
Okay.
I started. A friend of mine has been like a antique dealer. It does everything: motorcycles, guitars. But early on, when I was starting to put on events, he said, if you really want to have a great collection, just start selling stuff. And I was like, huh, that doesn't make any sense. He goes, yeah,
Yeah,
just start selling your own stuff. And I did, and I got it after that. You meet so many people, and you travel around, and you get to buy big collections. People bring you stuff. I've traded for stuff at shows. People have
nice.
brought stuff that I wanted. They knew I wanted it. They
Of
followed my
course, yeah.
Instagram. They'll bring it to the show, and they go, "What? Look through your booth. How about trading it for this?" I love that. Yeah,
Smart.
it's
Yeah, absolutely. That's part of the fun, right? I mean, I think a lot of us, have had to a little bit shift our some of our collecting habits, right? When we were all on lockdown and stuff like that, and people were just going online, right, and getting the stuff. And there's something to be said, right, to finding a good deal and all of that online. But still, right? I mean, maybe because we're a little bit more old school, but there's still that interaction, like you said, right? Like I still want to see where this is coming from, right? Who's the previous owner? Maybe get a story behind, how he found it initially, how he traded for it, how maybe it's been with him for years and years, right? So and that kind of always adds that nice layer to the piece, right? Like you're not just getting the toy itself, you're getting a little bit of the history,
yeah.
behind it. So
Stories are great. Big in
absolutely,
toys. Very big.
absolutely. So we got our friend LGP saying, I am definitely going to Plano. Maybe I'll hide in Kenobi's trunk. There you go. Well, there you go, brother. I was hoping you would drive, but hey, that's fine. We got Daniel from the Legacy of Nerd saying Kenobi giving us exclusives. Oh, it's happening. It's happening. We got Figure Fever coming in to the stream saying, good evening, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining. All right. So we had a couple of guests. We had about 3, 4 guesses. I don't think anybody actually hit the mark.
No.
So again,
Yeah.
exclusively here for Journal Canoes Bunker and Star Wars Stuff podcast. Thank you, Scott, for letting us do this. We are revealing the first confirmed guest for the July Retro Expo Star Wars Rebels reunion. We got Taylor Gray. That's right, the voice
Ta-da.
of Ezra Bridger. Come on, come on. What a way to start, the roster. I mean, this dude is on fire, of course, lately. He's always been very popular. He's a great guy. And I don't know if you've seen like, interviews or if you've met him in person. His voice is Ezra's voice. It's like it's like his daily driver, voice. It's kind of weird, because you hear him say, "Oh, I think we're just gonna go grab a bite to eat," and I'm like, "Huh, that's Ezra." Like he's just talking about like mundane stuff. So very very cool. Again, guys, you don't want to miss this show. Okay, if this is the first reveal, you can kind of expect what the next ones are gonna be, going forward. So he will be at Retro Expo again, guys, July 13 and 14, Plano, Texas, Plano Event Center, more specifically. So make sure that you are following Retro Expo on all their socials, especially on Instagram. The link is here in the chat. Uh, Thanks to Rolando for that. And I will be leaving the links here in the description of this video on YouTube. So if you guys are doing a rewatch later on for the show, make sure that you check out those links. Also, of course, Star Wars Top Podcast and General Economics Bunker, we're going to be sharing some of this content, on our socials. So make sure that you are checking us out. So that once again, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, basically everywhere. All right, guys, we're going to be talking about this show going forward quite a bit. Okay. So please, please make sure that you are in tune. Um, and yeah, we will be sharing this just after the stream. We had to break it, here, breaking news, exclusive reveal. So there it is, guys. So start planning your trips up to Plano, Texas, or down to Plano, Texas, depending where you are. And it's gonna be a great show. Okay, it's gonna be a great show. Like I said, and like Scott mentioned, if it's gonna be similar to Retromania, the vendors are gonna be fire. Okay, you're gonna find some crazy stuff, and as you can see again tonight, the guests are going to be so dope. So just remember, we have Star Wars Rebels cast reunion and Clone Wars cast reunion. All right. So two of the best animated properties, for Star Wars. Absolutely. We love those characters. So we cannot wait for us to see, who else is coming down the pipeline. But you guys are gonna have to wait a little bit, okay? So there is some more confirmed guests already. We can't talk about them quite yet, but again, you definitely want to follow Retro Expo, General Economics Bunker, and Star Wars Stuff Podcast on all our socials, so that you are up to date on what is coming up on the show. So Legacy Nerd saying Ezra, yes sir. We got Ezra. Luis doing the same. Ezra, yes sir. Kara saying, I met him in San Francisco last year. Super cool, dude. There you go. That's awesome. So now, since you already are jumping on the VIP pass, you're going to get to meet him, again. So that's going to be pretty cool. And yeah, Daniel reminding us this is only the first guest. That's right, guys. This is only the beginning. All right. Like I said, it only gets better from here. So please, please make sure, keep an eye out. Scott, I don't know if you want to talk about what's coming up, well, actually, I can show your website, but be on the lookout for the announcement of tickets and passes, sales for Retro Expo. And yeah,
Yep.
go ahead, Ray.
Hey Scott, hey, you gonna have anything exclusive? Because every time for every show, you pretty much always have an exclusive thing that's tied to certain people. Like you had for the $6 million man, you had the coin. Are
Mhm.
you gonna do anything like that for the Star Wars Rebels? And
Yeah, we'll definitely. We always have something for our VIPs that is something
Nice.
that special takeaway. Um, yeah, we'll have to dream up something really cool that will apply to both shows.
well, I
Absolutely.
got I got some cool artists that draw some Lucas licensed films. Maybe an exclusive print with the cast that are going to be there. Whoever's going to be there, that'd be a good
Print's
idea.
very popular. We've done several at our shows in the past. In addition to a medallion, we lot of times we'll have a special artisan just like that, and they'll offer us a print. And it's fun because then you can kind of get everybody at the show, to sign it, especially when it's themed. We'll have an aliens artist, and then we'll have
Nice.
Yeah.
aliens actors, and then everybody gets to sign it. So, Yeah, we'll definitely have some artists in. We always have a really nice artist alley there at Retro Expo, and we'll bring in some good artists as well. Definitely some Star Wars related artists.
Well, I'm gonna be bringing this piece. I'm gonna have Kenobi bring it up in a few, but I'm
Yeah.
hoping to get it signed. This thing is I've had it since 2008, so I'm hoping I'm gonna be able to get some people to sign it. It's in pristine condition. It was a pretty much Star Wars fan day back in 2008, so I'm definitely gonna be bringing that for hopefully get signed by some of the guests if they're there.
Nice. So, guys, this is the website right now for Retro Expo. Okay, so again, July 13 and 14, Plain Event Center. That's we got that's what the event center looks like. Just in case you're wondering, we got check it out. Come on, guys, that's just
Yeah,
great right
I don't
there.
think our tickets are live yet on for this because we yeah, we'll set our VIP up,
Hmm.
but it should be soon. We'll have our tickets up and running.
Sounds good. So once again, guys, you want to keep an eye out on all our socials along with Retro Expo socials so that you know when they go live. And so yeah, so this is some of the pictures, of past events and things like that. But we can pretty much guarantee it's going to be a good show, guys. So again, the roster of guests, right, is only going to keep growing. So definitely check them out. I left the website here in the chat along with their Instagram. So make sure that you are following them for any updates. Also, make sure that you are following us again, Star Wars Talk Podcast and General Economics Bunker here on all our socials, Instagram, etc. So please, make sure that you stay tuned for what is to come. Now, let me pull up
I'm
that.
corrected. The tickets are on here. I apologize. So yeah,
Oh, no problem.
if you go to retroexpo.com and click the ticket
Perfect.
link,
So actually,
it is active. Yeah.
let me just show it here. I think I saw a little tab here, tickets. Um, okay, yeah. So if you go in here, do, 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 you should be, yep, there you go. So you should be able to add them and purchase them. So they're live, guys. So make sure that you check it out. If you can, go for that VIP, guys. It's kind of worth it. All right, it's gonna
Oh
be
yeah,
fun.
VIP is always the way to go because they come with cool stuff. This poster that Kenobi has, it was part of the VIP package that I got when I went back in 2008.
Nice. Let me pull that up
I
right now.
never got it signed because I was getting other stuff signed.
Right.
But now this is actually to me perfect timing because if you saw the last trailer for Bad Batch and if you look at this poster, you're gonna see why. Look at this,
Oh,
Look at that.
beautiful.
What is this?
Uh,
2008, 2009?
yeah,
that's
2008.
cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of a perfect opportunity. I'm glad I didn't get it signed because it's well prestige taken care of. So and then Ventress is coming back in Bad Batch, which was cool. Which I can't wait.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah, this is kind of a giveaway looking at this poster, but I'd say you're going to do pretty good on this poster.
there you go.
Oh, I
You
hope
heard it here
so. I hope
first.
so.
You heard it here first, guys. So if you see anybody, in this poster there, you're kind of, oh man, I wish I could meet them. Just saying, we're just we're leaving you some breadcrumbs, all right, for what's to come. So I cannot stress this enough, guys. Definitely check out Retro Expo website on Instagram. Also, if you trust us enough, which I think you should by now, just go ahead and purchase, some tickets to attend to the show. It's gonna be a good one. All right. So
Yeah,
yeah, very very cool piece, Ray. I'm a little bit jealous now.
Yeah, that's
Um,
cool.
yeah, that's a cool one, especially because you've had it since then, right? You've had it for what is it now, 15 years, something like that. Getting up
yeah.
there,
Long. That's been a long time.
right? Yeah, it's been a little while, so that is gonna look very very cool. Hey, we got Eddie, so saying hello there. So actually, Edson is out there in the region. So Edson, if you are going to Retro Expo, let us know. We're gonna be showing up there, and make sure that you're tuned in because we're gonna be revealing some more guests. So I believe he is out there in the Dallas Fort Worth area. So very very cool. Hopefully, we see you out there. We got LGP, sorry, saying thank you, Scott, for all you do for geek culture. Yeah, absolutely. It's always very refreshing to meet a how can we say it? I guess a showrunner, right? That is also a collector, right? That also is in tune to what we want to see and what we want to purchase, even sometimes, right? And to prove you guys that I'm not lying, Scott was kind enough to share a little bit of what he has. So I just want to pull it up here real quick. It's just a little taste. It's just just a little bit. So look at that.
Nice.
Come on. Now
He has
that
good taste. Good
oh
taste. Not just Star Wars, but you can see the vintage,
look at
Godzilla
that.
figures and Gundam or
Yes,
yeah,
look at that Shogun Warrior. Look at that
Shogun
alien.
Warrior.
Oh my lord. That is just gorgeous. Great setup too, by the way. I love the way you've arranged it. Nothing looks, insanely cluttered. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah,
that's kind of the dream, when you have all this stuff, is to kind of show it off. So it's like having your own little museum. You want to look at your Star Wars toys, and
right.
I used to do that when I was a kid, like the ships hanging on the ceiling. I did all that when I was a kid too. I just I wasn't real secure with it. The ships would fall down when I was a kid. I didn't take the time to go get the right stuff at the hardware store when I was a kid.
You just rigged it up there.
Whatever I had.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, that's how a lot of us start, right? Um, and you're totally right. That is the dream because as as we all know here, we buy the piece before we worry about where it's gonna go, right?
Yeah.
Or even if we have the space sometimes. The excitement takes over, of course, when you find something you've been looking for a long time, or even something like real life perspective show. I was mentioning that something you didn't even know existed, right? And all of a sudden you find it, and you just can't leave it behind, right? But there is something to be said for having the vision and the discipline, honestly, uh, to sort of say, hey, this shelf is done, right? Like I like the way it looks. I think it's not overly cluttered. I can see every piece. Let's move on to another one, right? Of course, collections are in constant flux, right? We're always tweaking here and there, but it's how can I say it? It's always a good headspace to have as to when you're gonna pick up a piece, right? Let's say you were still missing, one of the 12-inch, right, for the vintage. You're like, hey, but I have the rest of them, right? So I know that, eventually I will get that last one, and it's gonna go in here. So sort of have like that mentality that I'm gonna try to focus, right? I'm gonna try to focus and say, okay, I got all the 12-inch, or I got all of the play sets, etc. Right? So this looks amazing to me. This looks super super gorgeous. So real quick, we're a little bit already into the show, but could you tell us real quick, how did you get into Star Wars?
Well, I was the right age when the movie came out. So, uh, third grade, I think, when it came out, the first movie. And so the toys, I was the right age for the toys. So I grew up with the toys, and hit junior high when Return of the Jedi came out. So right about then, as soon as the movie came out, I kind of lost interest in the toys and moved on to like skateboards and BMX, whatever I was doing in junior high. I kept my toys.
Smart.
I kind of already had like the collector mentality, I guess.
Nice.
Um, and then I gave them away in high school. I gave them to my cousin, uh, and years later, I went back to him and I said, "Hey, you don't happen to have my old Star Wars toys that I gave you when we were still kids?" And he said, "Oh no, I traded them for GI Joes."
Yikes.
So he was the right age for uh, the GI Joe phenomenon that came after Star Wars, because Star Wars really the toy line kind of petered out by 1985, I think, is the last dated toys for the droids line
Right.
and the Ewoks toy line. So I wasn't even paying attention at that time. I bought all the Return of the Jedi figures that I wanted, and I think that Christmas I also got an AT-AT, which in that photo, there's one of the few ties to my childhood. If you scroll up at the top of the shelf, there's an AT-AT standing up there. Um,
This guy
yeah,
right
that
here.
one. My cousin and I got those for Christmas, and that's my
Nice.
cousin's AT-AT. He saved his, and like I said, I gave mine to another cousin. So I was able to buy that and I was able to get at least part of my childhood back. It was my cousin's
That's
AT-AT, but
awesome.
we both got it the same for my grandma for Christmas.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
So,
beautiful.
I like to have little ties to my childhood,
Of course.
in the collection because I lost most of my toys. I have a few things, a few magazines, a few comic books from my childhood. So all this stuff uh, in my early 20s, fortunately, Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I grew up, they had toy shows there in the 90s. And so I went to toy shows and stuff and started buying, uh, toys. And then I started putting on my own shows pretty early on. I was probably 25 when I did put on my first event. And
Wow.
had dealers in, and we were already buying and selling Star Wars before it was like a phenomenon, before
Sure.
everybody was kind of collecting Star Wars. Stuff was a lot cheaper back then.
Oh, you started very early then. Kind of trailblazing there. That's very cool. So you were very very young, when you, I guess, found out what it took to put on, a show like that, right? So
Yeah, I loved it. Because I went to them when I was young. I went to those cons, and I met a lot of cool people when I was just a kid. And so I thought, oh, I want to do that too. I want to put on these events and have these people in that I think are interesting, that I want to meet, hang around them. And yeah, back in the 90s, I think I had at one of the shows I did in Tulsa, Oklahoma, I had Jeremy Bullock, who has since passed,
right.
um, who was Boba Fett in Empire Strikes Back in the
Yes.
costume. Uh, Man, we had other Star Wars guests like that. It was a dead period for Star Wars fandom, really,
Right.
the
Right.
90s, because the books were taking off. I was into the books, like the Kevin J. Anderson's Jedi Academy books
Oh yeah,
and the
classic.
Thrawn books by Timothy Zahn.
Man, yeah.
Um, I loved those, and I was reading those, and of course there was a lot of people playing the role playing games in the 90s too. In the comics shifted from Marvel Comics to Dark Horse
To
Comics,
Dark Horse, yeah.
and Dark Horse was doing a really great job with the
Oh yeah.
Dark Empire comic series 1 and 2. Those are really good. So us Star Wars fans, it was just kind of in hibernation, in between
Yeah,
the
very
series
true.
of the films and the toys. And then of course Kenner came back out with the new toys, and I was buying them. I thought it was fun to go to Walmart in like 1995 and 1996 and buy a new, Star Wars toy. It was fun
Right.
again. But really it only been almost like 10 years. Seems like a long time, but
Yeah,
in that 10 years I went from a kid to an adult. So, there's a lot of people that get into collecting young, or they start thinking about collecting or get nostalgic in their 20s or 30s.
absolutely.
That's why the Clone Wars and there's people in the audience or are going to go to the show that grew up on those
Yep,
shows.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely.
wild.
Yeah, right. Like you said, it's wild to think that uh that is somebody's, nostalgia, right? Like that is somebody's I don't want to say old school, but like their introduction maybe even to Star Wars, right? So it's
Yeah.
crazy for us to think because of course, we grew up with the movies, etc. So the animated for us is it's still very modern, right? Like it's still very recent. But you have a great point. I mean, if you were 8, 10 years old, watching Clone Wars and Rebels, I mean, you're 20 something now, right?
Yeah.
So it's very curious, right? It's funny how, of course, new generations, right? They are attracted obviously to different properties, but it's somebody's entry point, it's somebody's first love, into Star Wars, right? Like it's maybe the one that got him into, oh, I didn't know there were movies, back then, like let me watch those. Oh, I didn't know there were books, right? So it kind of makes them, it's like a gateway, right, to a larger universe that maybe we are a little bit more used to it, since we kind of saw it, uh start, right? But so where is it? Oh yeah. So I wanted to say, LGP says, I focus on having everything. I guess I am a Sith.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. Just get it all. Just
Yeah,
anything
right.
you
If you can,
use.
by all means.
I go into that mode with Star Wars sometimes.
I think we all do. Figure Fever says, I had those larger size Star Wars comics, bottom right of your collection. I'm assuming he means these specials from Marvel
Oh
back
yeah,
then.
those the treasuries. Yeah, that's how I read Star Wars for the first time. Those big, oversized comic books. They don't do many of those like that today. They're
No,
bigger than a magazine. They're almost like the size of a Life magazine tabloid.
nice.
But they published part one and part two of the adaptation, and the adaptation from Marvel Comics is pretty faithful. Some of the visuals are wonky because
Sure.
they didn't see the movie; they were going off of stills and they were using the script. So there are some differences between the actual edited version that was
Version.
released and the
Yeah.
comic book. Some minor differences, and some of the characters look different, but basically the
Right.
story is really pretty accurate adaptation, and they're really, really great to see the art bigger like that too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like you said, they just don't make them like that anymore.
No.
LGP says, I did trade a lot of my Star Wars for Joe's as a kid. Yeah, man, it was almost like the natural progression, right? It was just, whatever was next, right? I you guys have seen, I still have, bins full of my childhood, GI Joes, because that's what I used to play with. That was my jam. Edson says, a couple years ago we went to Scott's store in Allen. I heard he closed the store. What happened? Asked Edson.
We had a lease at that location, and yeah, it was up. It's kind of expensive. Retail is expensive, especially in Dallas.
Oh, I bet. Oh, I bet.
But
Um,
started just dealing at like toy shows and flea markets and antique, and
nice.
and that's how I met most of the like toy collecting community was that way. Was actually just going to shows.
That's awesome. LGP saying nostalgia. That is why Clone War figures are so hard to find.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. We're
yeah,
we're kind of like Scott was saying, right? We're kind of in that period of time, right, where Clone Wars is now very nostalgic to a lot of people, right? Or let's put it this way: a lot of people with new purchasing power, right? So these
yeah,
these these are the guys that are maybe starting to get out of college, starting to get their first full time job, like that kind of stuff. That they're like, all right, I'm getting like quote unquote adult money. So I kind of want to go back to stuff that I liked as a kid, right? So uh, again, it's almost natural, right, for different generations to do that. So it's kind of funny that, again, for us, it's still pretty recent, right? But for them, it's like, oh, I used to watch that as a kid, right? Like that was my jam when I was 7, 8 years old. So it's always good to see that. Curious Pit Reviews, what's going on, man? So this is our brother from Houston. So he is a very avid collector also out there in Houston. So if you're in the Dallas Fort Worth, man, in July, make sure you check out Retro Expo, man. It's gonna be a good one. Edson says this Saturday is the North Dallas Toy Show. There you go. Looking forward
oh
to your video,
yeah,
Edson.
yeah. I go to that one a lot.
Nice. So we're coming up here on the 1 hour mark, and I just wanted to say, Scott, thank you so much for letting us share this, with our audience. This show is going to be great, Retro Expo. We are super excited. I know Ray, David, the rest of the Countdown City Geeks. We are definitely looking forward to this one. Ray, anything you want to bring up, before we start wrapping up here?
No, just guys, go get your tickets. The pricing are I mean, great. 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, or 2 days. I think right. It's 2 day show, right?
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So definitely go. You're gonna Don't get me wrong. You're gonna have a great experience. I've gone up there. So I'm a big Knight Rider fan, and they had the voice of Knight Rider there. I literally had worked the 12 because I was working graveyard shift at the time.
Yikes.
I had worked from 11 to 7. I had got off of work. My wife and my buddy, we drove straight from, they picked me up from work. We drove straight to Dallas for 1 day. Went up there just to get my kit, San Diego Comic Con exclusive, signed, and then drove back the same day. So
Awesome.
the shows are very, very well worth going up there, especially for nostalgia, to get things that you want signed, to meet people that you grew up as a kid. Don't miss out, guys.
Yeah, that's one thing I have to mention is the one of the benefits that we have at Retro Expo, um, that we work. Our partner on the show is Official Picks, Ben Stevens.
Nice.
That company is a Lucasfilm, licensed company. I think they are like a photo provider,
Yes.
and of course they've been doing autographs for probably 20 some odd years. Very trusted source for authentic autographs for, like, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, all that.
Right.
The top end people. And so Official Picks actually is the guest coordinator for the Retro Expo shows. So they've been having, if you go to the Official Picks website and see who they have autographing, it'll be people like Clint Eastwood, Sylvester Stallone. So we've had some great guests at Retro Expo. We've had big guests like Chuck Norris and people like that. So we're always going to have really fun, interesting, different guests at Retro Expo, and it's just one time this year. So we've done it twice and up to 3 times in the past, but
Wow.
venue things have happened. We've had so many complications. It's getting very tough out there dealing with the venues and stuff. So we're just going to do it once. It's going to be a blowout show. I'm sure it's going to be packed. The last one we just got hammered. There's crowds of people, so it'll be fun.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
it's definitely, when I got up there and we got there about noon, and there was still a line for people to go in. So, and that's at doors open at 10 at the time. So
Yeah.
yeah, don't miss out, guys. It's a
Yeah,
fun show.
absolutely. So once again, guys, the links are here in the chat. Retro Expo website, Retro Expo Instagram. I cannot stress this enough. You gotta be checking in every so often because we are gonna be talking about who else is gonna be in the show. Okay, so I just wanna remind you guys, July 13 to 14, Retro Expo. They will be having a Clone Wars and Rebels cast reunion, Plano, Texas, Plano Event Center. Check them out. And oh, what is this? Did I just drop a hint here on this image? Oh, I don't know.
Maybe.
I can't tell.
That's not the one I sent
Maybe.
you.
Who knows? We're gonna have to censor this part. But check us out again. Make sure that you are following us on all our social media. Star Wars Stuff Podcast here on YouTube, Instagram, uh, obviously on wherever you get your podcast. Really, Apple Podcast, Spotify, sorry, etc. And check out General Economics Bunker. Here on YouTube, of course. If you're in the show, you already found me. But also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So thank you again, Scott, for this. We are very much looking forward to it. It's gonna be a great show, and guys, cannot stress this enough. Check out Retro Expo. Okay, you don't want to miss out. So thanks again. Thank you everybody for joining here tonight, and may the force be with you.
Thank you.
Always.
Appreciate it.